A rematch is set in the divisional round, but this time, we're at home. What's up, Broncos country? My name is Brandon Gilchrist. Well, here we are. Game week, divisional round, second round of the playoffs, and your Denver Broncos are hosting the Buffalo Bills. Wildcard weekend is in the books, and funny enough, the third, fourth, and seventh seeds have been eliminated on both sides of the conference. It's fitting the Broncos have to go through the Bills to advance in the playoffs, considering their performance last year and being knocked out by the Bills in the wild card round of the playoffs. Time for a little redemption for this team. Though the players are the same at its core for both sides, both of these teams walk in very different than what they were in 2024. The Broncos have a tall task in front of them, facing really the remaining consistent playoff performer left, but they have an advantage with being at home. The Broncos are coming off a week of rest, while the Bills are coming off a really tough contest in the first round of the playoffs. Let's get right into this matchup. We got a good one on our hands. The Bills end the season 12-5. Their head coach Sean McDermott became the head coach in 2017. Prior to that, he was the Panthers DC from 2011 to 2016. And prior to that, he was the Eagles defensive backs, linebackers, and at one point, defensive coordinator coach from 2004 to 2010. Since becoming the head coach, Sean McDermott and the Bills have experienced a ton of success. With only one losing season and 2 AFC championship appearances, the Bills have been in at least the divisional round of the playoffs since 2020. The biggest attribution to the Bills' success comes with drafting quarterback Josh Allen in 2018. After making the wild card as the 7th seed, the Bills are coming off an incredibly physical contest against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were the 3rd seed. Playoff Josh Allen came alive to will that team to score and to take the lead in the last 4 minutes of the game. And then their defense sealed it with an interception of Trevor Lawrence. They're a bit banged up with one playoff win behind them, but everyone in the national media and fans alike think this is the year for Josh Allen, considering that the playoff field doesn't have Patrick Mahomes, doesn't have Lamar Jackson, and doesn't have Joe Burrow. Since Mahomes has been in the league, he's taken up at least one AFC championship spot since becoming the starting quarterback. I guarantee the Bills are feeling the pressure. I know I hear it from Bills fans' friends that if they can't do it this year, when can they do it? The 2025 NFL season has been so unique, and for the Josh Allen to be the remaining standing, consistent playoff quarterback, is there a better time? For your Denver Broncos, they ended the season 14-3, secured the number 1 seed, and are in the absolute best position they could be in when it comes to reaching their ultimate goal. They got to get some extra rest as the 1 seed and watch all of the other teams beat each other up in the first round of the playoffs. The Broncos only have 1 goal left on their list, and it starts with getting some redemption against the Bills. I guarantee you, Sean Payton and the Broncos want to prove they belong after their performance from 2024. And frankly, I don't think this team would have it any other way with them facing the Bills. Let's talk about the Broncos defense versus the Bills offense. Your Denver Broncos ended the 2025 regular season as the 2nd ranked defense in the league in total yards allowed. They allow 187.2 yards passing, good for 7th, and 91.1 yards rushing, which is 2nd best in the league. They only allow 18.3 points a game, which is good for 3rd in the league. The Broncos achieved a franchise record in 2025 of 68 sacks. They're the NFL's 2nd best 3rd down defense, allowing just 33.8% conversion, and they're the NFL's best red zone defense, only allowing 42.6% touchdown conversion. Their biggest opportunity ending the 2025 season is in takeaways, with only having 14 on the season. The Broncos have received a lot of recognition this year, but the biggest for the players definitely comes with being seen as an all-pro. And this year, on the defensive line, Zach Allen achieved first-team All-Pro. A huge accomplishment. Generally, the defensive tackles are unsung heroes, but Zach Allen has done it all this year. Awesome to see him recognized as an All-Pro. When looking at the rest of the front 7, the Broncos also have a chance of getting Dre Greenlaw back at that inside linebacker position. He's been impactful all over the field, especially in that run defense. Keep an eye on the health reports at the end of this video to find out game statuses. When it comes to the Broncos coverage, they also have a couple 2025 All-Pros there too. And cornerback Pat Surtain II and safety Talanoa Hufanga. Congrats to both of them. This just solidifies how good the defense has been all year, and it's great to see them get the recognition that they deserve. In terms of the rest of the secondary, the last time the Broncos played, PJ Locke went out with an injury, and we'll be keeping an eye on that and the health report to find out his game status as well. When we look at the Bills' offense, it's coordinated by Joe Brady. Joe became the offensive coordinator in 2024, and prior to that, he was the QB coach and interim offensive coordinator from 2022 to 2023. And before that, he was the Panthers offensive coordinator from 2020 and 2021. The Bills' offense ended the season as the 4th ranked offense in the league in total yards, generating 216.6 yards passing, good for 15th, 159.6 yards rushing, which is number 1 in the league, and 28.3 points a game, which is good for 4th. They are the NFL's number 4 best ranked third down offense at 44.8% conversion, and the NFL's 3rd best ranked red zone offense at 66.2% touchdown conversion. They're decent at protecting the football with only 19 giveaways. Now the Bills, they run an aggressive spread offense that utilizes their running backs in pass formations, making a lot of empty sets so that they can take advantage of mismatches. The Bills use a lot of screen plays and play action to get their guys open, and they're not afraid to attack horizontally or vertically. The linchpin of the whole thing is obviously their guy behind center, Josh Allen, who's phenomenal at using his legs and helping convert 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, and touchdowns on goal to go and short in the red zone. The 2025 season has been inconsistent for the Bills offense overall. When we look at the O-line for the Bills, they brought back every starter from 2024. This has been the most consistent piece for the offense for the year. They ended 2025 only allowing 28.4% pressure, which is good for 4th best in the NFL. Along with protecting their QB, this line is also opening up holes for the leading rusher in the NFL in James Cook. He won the 2025 rushing title with 1,621 yards and 12 touchdowns, averaging 5.2 yards a carry. A physical, patient, elusive back that has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. James Cook has been very explosive at times for the Bills, generating a ton of yards after contact. With his running style, his preference is definitely running on the perimeters and running to the outside, using that wide zone and that outside zone. When we look at his performance against the Jaguars' number 1 rushing defense, he was held in check on Sunday with 15 attempts for 46 yards and 2 receptions for 5 yards. When we look at the passing game, their guy behind center is the linchpin for the entire offense, and that's QB Josh Allen. As the reigning 2024 MVP at 6'5", 237 pounds, he is the prototypical dual threat quarterback who can do it all. In 2025, Josh Allen produced a 69% completion percentage for 3,668 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. He also generated another 579 rushing yards on the ground with 14 rushing touchdowns. What's an interesting note is he was sacked a career high 40 times this season, despite having the same line that he had in 2024. On Sunday, he was once again the major contributor to the Bills beating the Jaguars, going 28 of 35 for 273 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns. I think part of the reason that Josh Allen has been holding on to the ball is because he has no true number 1 receiver. Unfortunately, one of his most reliable receivers, Gabe Davis, won't be playing on Saturday due to a torn ACL. That leaves Josh with a few targets, including Brandon Cooks, Keon Coleman, and Khalil Shakir. Khalil Shakir has emerged as the Bills' leading receiver. Drafted in 2022 in the 5th round, he's been primarily used in the slot and in the screen game, and once again was reliable for Josh on Sunday, going 12 for 12 for 82 yards. I would expect him to continue to be that reliable target to help Josh move the chains on Saturday. Keon Coleman, who is the Bills' 2nd round receiver, the big body target at 6'4", 215 pounds, is the deep threat. His performance has been up and down the last 2 years, dealing with some disciplinary issues in the 2025 season. He made 1 catch for 36 yards on Sunday against the Jaguars, but I would imagine with Gabe Davis going out, Josh is going to be forced to look Keon Coleman's way more. The other surprise emergence, Brandon Cooks, has also steadily seen his tick go up. 3 catches on Sunday for 58 yards. Brandon Cooks joined the Bills in November after being cut by the Saints, but he's an experienced wide receiver for that room, and he's going to need to be more so this coming Saturday. Now, Josh has a couple other targets he could look at more this coming Saturday, and that's his tight end room. with Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Dalton Kincaid has been in and out due to injury, but when he's in, he is an impactful pass-catching tight end for Josh Allen. Excellent route runner who lines up inside and outside. Kincaid's been used not only in the short and intermediate game, but also in the deep game as one of the few tight ends that's targeted downfield. On Sunday, he had 3 catches for 28 yards and a touchdown. Was a big factor when it came to the Bills' comeback win. With Dawson Knox, he's a more traditional tight end, but has emerged as a great complement to Dalton Kincaid when the Bills love to use 12 personnel with 1 running back and 2 tight ends. And I think this is something the Broncos are going to have to be prepared for because the Bills are not afraid to attack the middle of the field. And with 2 legit tight ends on the team, these 2 could emerge as the primary targets for Josh Allen on Saturday. So what's the plan for all 11 on defense against this Bills offense? Priority number 1, don't let them cook. Josh Allen and James Cook are the keys to unlocking this entire Bills offense. Don't let them get going. That includes in the passing game. They love to use Cook in toss runs because he favors going to the outside. With the Broncos, the cage rush that they use to contain mobile quarterbacks, the same principles should apply on this one in keeping Josh in the pocket, having to win from the pocket, but then closing in and getting those sacks. We saw a little bit of this when the Bills played the Texans. I think the Broncos can recreate that success. One of the big keys here is going to be finishing with contact. Hit him. Hit the quarterback. Hit the running back. Make sure that Josh pays for trying to hold onto the ball and attack downfield. You also want to make sure you stay out of 3rd and short, 4th and short, or goal to go short. This is where Josh Allen just uses his legs, and they have perfected that quarterback sneak to convert on any of those short yardage situations. And that's what's going to keep them on the field. And the Broncos need to just stay out of those situations altogether. When it comes to the end of the game, part of not letting them cook also means keeping the ball completely out of Josh Allen's hands. So generating some takeovers in this one and giving the ball back to our offense, and our offense sustaining long drives also is another way for us to play defense against Josh Allen. Priority number 2, watch those ends. I already mentioned Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. They're going to be huge in the Bills' attempt to try to stay on the field and score in the red zone. The middle of the field is a vulnerability for the Broncos. Because of our pass rush, I would also expect both tight ends to be used a ton more when it comes to chipping and getting open for short completions, or even fully just staying in to block to give Josh Allen time to throw the ball down the field. The Broncos' pass rush can't be stopped by this. This is also where I think a Jade Barron or a Talanoa Hufanga or a Dre Greenlaw can get some takeaways. All right, let's talk about this Broncos offense versus the Bills defense. Your Denver Broncos offense ended the season with the NFL's 10th ranked offense in total yards. They generated 223.9 yards passing, good for 11th, 118.7 yards rushing, good for 16th, and 23.6 points a game, good for 14th. They are the NFL's 10th best 3rd down offense with a 41.2% conversion rate and the 13th best red zone offense, converting 57.9% on touchdowns. The Broncos are also very good at protecting the football with only 17 giveaways, good for 11th. When it comes to opening up holes and protecting their quarterback, the Broncos offensive line produced 2 All-Pros this year in Garrett Bowles and Quinn Miners, both first-team All-Pros. This line was responsible for only allowing a 27.7% pressure rate on their quarterback. Good for 3rd in the NFL. Congrats to Garrett Bowles and Quinn Miners for this achievement, and frankly the entire offensive line. Just like the Bills, this entire line stayed together from 2024, and the chemistry shows. When it comes to the running game, there are signs that the Broncos could be getting J.K. Dobbins back. Though I don't think it's going to be in the divisional round, the soonest would be the AFC Championship or potentially the Super Bowl. So that's something we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on. For now, just as it's been, the Broncos will need to be relying on Jaleel McLaughlin and RJ Harvey for the majority of the carries, with Tyler Bidet substituting in on some key 3rd downs. As I mentioned before, I'll be very curious if Sean Payton stays with RJ getting the majority of the carries, or if this could be an instance where Jaleel McLaughlin gets more carries. Either way, running the ball is going to be critical in this one. And that is where the biggest opportunity is against the Bills defense. When it comes to passing the ball, our boy Bo ended the season with a 63% completion percentage, 3,931 yards, almost got that 4,000, 25 passing touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Bo also added 356 yards on the ground with 5 rushing touchdowns. He was only sacked 22 times. the lowest. I'm expecting the rushing yards for Bo to go up here in the postseason. There were definitely times where he left some first down conversions or touchdowns on the field because he was trying to be patient and complete a pass. I think in this one, if the grass is there, take it. When we look at the Bills defense, it's coordinated by Bobby Babich. He was promoted to defensive coordinator in 2024. Prior to that, he was the defensive backs, linebackers, and safeties coach for the Bills from 2017 to 2023. Now, this is a Sean McDermott defense, but both Sean McDermott and Bobby Babich share play calling duties on the field on Sundays, and in this case, Saturday. This defense ended this 2025 regular season as the 7th-ranked defense in the league in total yards allowed. They were first in passing, only allowing 156.9 yards, and they allowed 136.2 yards rushing, which is good for 28th, and 21.5 points a game, which is good for 12th. They're the NFL's 24th best third down defense, allowing a 41.4% conversion, 19th best red zone defense, allowing 59.6% touchdown conversion. They're 14th in takeaways with 20 this year. This defense is an aggressive 4-3 style defense that often deploys zone coverage like cover 3, whether they're blitzing or not. The whole idea for them is having eyes on the quarterback and putting themselves in position for takeaways. Because of their aggression in 2025, this defense has also pushed themselves out of position, which is where their ranking in the run game has come from. When we look at their front seven, they have some great players up front with Joey Bosa, who's a familiar face for the Broncos from his time with the Chargers. He's a pressure generator and a disruptor up front. They also have defensive end Greg Rousseau, who's traditionally been a great run stuffer. He's also translated that success into 7 sacks on the year, including on Sunday when he had 6 tackles and 1 sack. They also have a big defensive tackle in Deon Walker, who was drafted in 2025 in the 4th round. He's been another stout run defender who stepped in when defensive tackle Ed Oliver went out with a biceps and meniscus injury. Ed Oliver actually may come back for the divisional round game. He has been designated for return from IR. Keep an eye on the health report to find out game statuses at the end of this video. They also have a very solid linebacker in Shaq Thompson, who made himself known on Sunday against the Jaguars with 8 tackles and an interception. In coverage, one of the guys the Broncos will need to keep an eye on is the safety Cole Bishop. He was drafted in 2024 in the 2nd round and has emerged as a talent who has not only been used in pass coverage, but for blitzes and run defense up front. He made his presence known on Sunday as well with 2 tackles and a game-sealing interception against Trevor Lawrence when the Jaguars tried to make their final push. So what's the plan for Broncos offense against this Bills defense? Priority number 1, get to galloping. Don't outsmart yourself on this one, Sean Payton. Dear God, run the ball. Please run the ball. It's there. It's available. It's been available all season. There's no reason to shy away from it. You can run on the Bills, and it was evident on Sunday. And for some reason, the Jaguars kept trying to force the pass. Run the ball. Between Jalil's decisiveness and RJ's explosiveness, the Broncos should have a field day on Saturday when it comes to the run. The Bills allow a league-high 4.1 yards after contact. Get creative with misdirection. It worked for the Jags. The Broncos should repeat that success until the Bills show they can stop it. The pass should be used to complement the run on Saturday if we're doing it right. This also means using Bo's legs. We don't have to do a lot of quarterback design runs. When it comes to scrambling, Bo's legs will be the key to the Broncos actually applying ball control offense against the Bills. According to Next Gen Stats, the Bills allow 9.3 yards and a league high in first downs when a quarterback scrambles. That's got Bo written all over it. It's interesting. You saw this across the wild card round. No matter which game you watched, the offenses that created the most success had QBs that used their legs to keep their offense moving when the passing game or running game wasn't working. The Bills also have a much higher missed tackle rate. They allow the 2nd highest yards from scrimmage after a missed tackle. So if the first guy doesn't make the tackle, there's space to pick up a ton of yards. And this is where I think an Evan Ingram, a Marvin Mims, a Troy Franklin could really come in. If we can give them the ball in space and they can make one guy miss, the day is ours. Priority number 2, take time to read. Now, what do I mean by this? For Bo, quiet feet, quiet mind. Let the game come to you. Trust your O-line, set your feet, and throw the ball. Let's make no mistake. The Bills have the number 1 pass defense, which means throws need to be on time and accurate. And Bo is fully capable of both of those as long as he sets his feet and doesn't let that timer in the back of his head go off too soon. And this pass can complement all of the running that we should be doing. Bo's got this. When we look at special teams, the Bills' special teams is coordinated by Chris Tabor, who was hired in 2025. Prior to that, he was the special teams coordinator for the Panthers from 2022 to 2023 and for the Bears from 2018 to 2021. And before that, he was the special teams coordinator for the Browns from 2011 to 2017. The Bills' special teams has steadily improved all year, though there are opportunities in kick coverage for a play to be made. Marvin Mims has the opportunity to be the key when it comes to the field position battle on this one. We have a familiar face at kicker for the Bills with Matt Prater, who was with the Broncos from 2007 to 2014, just before the year where we won the Super Bowl. Prater was always a reliable kicker. He's been battling, but did make some crucial kicks for the Bills on Sunday, and I expect the same with being so familiar at Mile High. They have a couple dynamic returners in Ray Davis and potentially Curtis Samuel, who could be coming back from IR. Ray Davis does have a kick return for a touchdown this year. He is a legitimate threat. Broncos kick coverage has gotten better in the last few weeks, and they need to make sure that stays the same as we kick off the playoffs. They also have a very solid punter in Mitch Wishnowski. He's been accurate. He's downed a ton of balls inside the 20. Jeremy Crawshaw and Mitch are going to be battling when it comes to helping their team get the best field position possible. And when it comes to downing the ball, the Broncos have a great special teamer in Devin Key, who also made All-Pro this year as a special teamer. He has the most special teams tackles in Broncos history. Congrats to him. Another thing we're going to be looking at now that we've reached the playoffs is who the officials are for this game. And this time around, we've got Carl Sheffers and his crew. Now, Carl's been officiating in the NFL since 2000, and he's been a head official since 2008. Looking into the stats, his crew is responsible for the second highest number of penalty flags thrown in 2025, the highest of which have come from pre-snap penalties. I'm not sure if this is consistent for the Bills, but it may be an advantage for the Broncos. The Bills committed a lot of pre-snap penalties on Sunday against the Jaguars. So this is where us as Broncos country and those that are attending the game can come into play and help our team. Bring the thunder, Broncos country, on Saturday, because it could result into some more false starts and pre-snap penalties for the Bills, which helps out our defense a ton. These playoffs are shaping up to be which defense can get this stop. If you weren't convinced, the wild card round absolutely showed you the better defense is ruling in the playoffs. Our Broncos are in a great position heading into this game. At the end of the day, who can get the stop has been the big difference in this one. It was evident, no matter which matchup you watch, that it was hard to move the football. So when you can do it, you have to walk away with points. But the Broncos do need to make sure that they are getting touchdowns the moment they reach the red zone. But at the very least, take the points. If it comes down to special teams, I think our Broncos also have the advantage there. Where do you think the Broncos have the advantage in this contest on Saturday? What was your favorite game from Wild Card Weekend? For me, it actually ended up being the one that I thought would be, which is the Bills versus the Jaguars. I think you saw both defenses stop the offenses at different points, and then you saw the emergence of the talent of Josh Allen come alive in the fourth quarter to help his team get the win. Well, the Broncos have experience here as well, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to see how this game unfolds. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. As always, be kind. Talk to you soon, Broncos country.